I want to make sure that you don't get burnt out and that you're rewarding yourself while you're budgeting. And this is part of the reason why budgets are made to be broken. Budgets are made to be broken because if you don't break your budget, you'll never reward yourself. If you have a highly itemized budget, there's no room within that budget for you to treat yourself. And if you don't treat yourself, you're going to cheat yourself. So I want you to treat yourself, not cheat yourself. And you got to reward yourself when you're on a budget, or else it can be physiologically taxing. So make sure that you reward yourself anytime that you're budgeting. If you reward yourself, it's easier to stay on track. I mentioned earlier that one of my budgeting strategies was to attach my reason for budgeting to more than just a monetary goal. You know, my big goal personally is to have an emergency fund, or some people will call it, or to have savings of $10,000. That's my big goal. And after I have that, I might use it for a down payment on a car, may use it for a down payment on a property. But more than likely, I would just have $10,000 and I would live a lot more peaceful knowing that I have $10,000 and nothing that it needs to be spent on, because my budgeting is on point and that I just have this money sitting there waiting for me to invest it or do whatever. The best thing in the world is to have money to spend, and like to have money and not need it, because, and like I said, I hate to go back to last week's episode, but it's important that you really get out, if you're doing this, get out of survival mode and get into living mode, to a point where you're living your days where you can enjoy your time and your money and your energy, and really just enjoy the fruits of your labor. Because for the longest time in my life, I was in a situation where everything I did was geared towards survival. Even my budget was geared towards survival. I said that I wanted to have my electric bill paid first, and I want to have my rent. Well, I want to have my rent paid first, and I want to have my electric bill paid first, because that's the situation that I was in. And the water bill and all that other stuff came next, because my priority was making sure that I have a house to live in and that I have lights to turn on at night and don't have to live in the dark. And so those were my priorities in the past. And I've since moved on to a point in my life where survival isn't the big issue. You know, I'm in a point in my life because of budgeting where I'm not here to, my top priority isn't making sure I have food to eat dinner, because it's taken care of, because I budget. And these are the things that don't take care of themselves. And it's easier to tell somebody that they're poor because they made bad life choices, or easy to tell people they're poor because they don't make enough money. But what's really hard is to tell somebody or to help somebody live within their means, so that although you might not make a lot of money, that you can make whatever money that you have go a little bit further. And that's very important to me. And that's one of the main priorities of my budget, is to stretch my money out as far as it can. And especially now that my main focus in life is not survival, I want to focus on living. So my priorities have switched from paying the bills to saving up for a vacation, or, you know, having an emergency fund. And I'm not there yet. I haven't arrived. I'm not perfect, but I'm not where I was 10 years ago. And I'm definitely not where I was at 5 years ago. So that's progress. And that progress I can only blame on really just sticking to my budget. Because when I look at my life 5 years ago, when I was working 2 jobs versus now when I work 1 job, my income hasn't changed that much to change my standard of living. What really changed was my behavior as far as my finances goes, because when I was working 2 jobs, I actually made more money than I do now. But the problem was that a lot of that money was eaten up in taxes. A lot of that money was eaten up in gas money, going from one job to another. You know, wake up in the morning, go to one job, you know, come home, get washed and dressed, or just go straight to the other job, depending on which job I had first. And then I would drive home at night. And then after working all day, I was super hungry. So then now I'm eating twice the food that I would normally eat. And, you know, working two jobs ain't easy. And if that's what you have to do to survive, that's what you have to do to survive. But like I said, my main goal and the way I overcome it, yeah, I got a new job that was full time, but one of the main ways that I overcame the situation before finding full time employment was to just make better use of the money that I did have.